Hello. Today we're going to be predicting Scotland's World Cup squad. Um, Now, I wasn't entirely sure when I wanted to start covering the World Cup, so I put a poll out to you guys, and you guys said you didn't help. I value all your opinions, but when you're that split, I really cannot keep up. But half of you said now, about half of you said in a little bit, so I don't really know what to do. So I thought I'll touch lightly on it. I'll predict some of the squads, and I thought best to start with your own team, so I will with Scotland. Now, if you don't know, the squad size has increased to 33 this year. It was previously 31. So it gives us a couple more players. So yeah, I think I've split it up kind of evenly. The positions that are needed more heavily have more players, obviously. So let's get into it. Starting off. So we'll start off with the props. Now I've put both loose head and tight head together. I've gone with 5 total. So the 5 props I think Scotland should take is Schumann, Xander Fagerson, WP Nel, Jamie Batty and Rory Sutherland. I thought, well, all of them have featured pretty regularly for Scotland. And that'll be a theme. I've kind of gone with players who have played regularly for Scotland over the last year or so. Players who aren't really. I don't think I've got a single kind of out there pick that no one would expect. I've kind of gone safe. I think that's what you should do in a World Cup. I think you should go safe. So gone with those 5. I think they're pretty safe bets. Yeah, let's move on. Hookers. I'm taking 3 hookers now. Hookers is a position that Scotland's got a lot of. So I've kind of taken my time and had a look, and the 3 I'm initially thinking: George Turner, Ewan Ashman, and Fraser Brown. I think those 3 are probably the 3 best at the minute. You know, I can see an argument for putting someone like Dave Cherry in, maybe for Fraser Brown, but we'll see. Obviously, Stuart McInally's retiring, so he's not going on the World Cup tour, I don't think. He might be, I don't know. Yeah, so that's the hookers. So solid front rows there. 5 props, 3 hookers. I thought kind of a balance, gives you a lot. Those are physically demanding spots. You need a few. So now we're going to go into locks, or second row. I've gone with 4. Now, I have not selected Johnny Gray. If he was available, I would, but he's injured and it's suspected he's going to miss the World Cup, so I've missed him out of it, basically. So for the locks, I've gone with Gilchrist, Richie Gray, Scott Cummings and Sam Skinner. I think all of those 4 are settled. I know there's a few more about, like Cameron Henderson, although I've not seen him really at all. I've not watched him play, so I don't know how good he is. I'm hoping he gets a game in the summer tests for Scotland, maybe against Georgia or something, just as a cap, maybe see him, see what he's all about. But apart from that, I've kind of gone again with 4 players who are well known with Scotland, who we all know work well in the system. And that's what I've gone for. It's a tight World Cup. We're in a tough group. We need a well-selected team who work well together. So again, for back rows, I've gone with Jamie Ritchie, who I've given the captaincy again. I think he's been a good captain over the autumns and the Six Nations. We had a good campaign in both. With him at captain, I don't really see a need to change him. I know some people have a few issues, but I don't see an issue with him. And there's only a couple players in there who I think can take captaincy off him. So I think we should stick with Jamie Ritchie. As well as him, I've taken Rory Dodge, Hamish Watson, Matt Fagerson, and Dempsey. I feel like those 5 are all, again, regularly play for Scotland and club. I know, for example, Dodge and Watson have missed time recently with injury, which has opened up for possibly the likes of Luke Crosby. I feel like, though, with both Rory Dodge and Hamish Watson back, someone like Crosby will miss out, unfortunately. I think he's a great player that's just better, and I think Scotland need to bring their A game if they want any chance in this World Cup pool stage to progress. So that's the forwards. So we're taking, what's that, 10, 3, 4, 17 out of the 33 forwards, so just over half of forwards, which I think is probably fair. And we need a lot of forwards. Yeah. So moving on now, we're going to look at the backs. So scrum halves, I've gone with 3 scrum halves. Again, 3 scrum halves who have been good this season. Ben White, Ali Price, George Horne. Simple as that. Yeah. Again, I argue Vellacott should be playing for Scotland more, but not in a World Cup. And I know there's people like John Cooney out there, but I've not heard anything about him for about the last year. Like, there was a lot of noise about a year ago and nothing since, so I don't know. And the fly halves now. Again, I've picked 3 because there's 2 that I really couldn't pick between, so I've taken them both. So obviously, first place we've got Finn Russell, easiest choice in the world. Then behind him we've got both Ben Healy and Adam Hastings. I couldn't pick between the 2 of them, so I've taken them both. I think they're both excellent 10s. Both can do a job off the bench. Obviously, Finn will be the main starting 10. Yeah. I do also have another player in another position. This probably gives it away. I have Kinghorn. He's not. I've listed him as a winger just because, but he can cover 10. I don't think he's a particularly great at 10. I think the 3 of them are better than him at 10. He can cover 10, wing, and fullback if needed. But we'll talk about the centres first. So I'm taking 4 centres. I'm taking Hugh Jones, Sione Tuipulotu, Chris Harris, and Cameron Redpath. Again, 4 players who have played a lot for Scotland recently. All 4 of them have impacted the team positively. I know there's question marks over some like Harris. Some people don't like his attack. I think he's solid in defence. You know, if Scotland somehow have a lead over like an Ireland or South Africa with about 10 minutes left, bringing on Harris just to add that defensive stability, I can see. But I think Hugh Jones and Tuipulotu should be the main starting 2. They've been incredible. And Redpath as well is another great option. Wingers, again, 2 main starters. Then I've got a couple of backups. So Duhan van der Merwe and Darcy Graham. There's your 2 main starter winger right there, as long as neither of them are injured. Both have been amazing this season. Both are scoring tries like it's their job, which it is as wingers. Behind them, I'm gone Kyle Steyn, again, solid season. Came in, covered Darcy Graham during the Six Nations, played really well. Has been good for Glasgow all season. And then I have put Kinghorn as a winger, although because he can cover it, I'd probably say wing or fullback as his stronger positions. So, yeah. And then last but not least, fullback. I'm only taking 2 specialists, because again, we have Kinghorn, who can drop into fullback if needed. Stuart Hogg, it'll be his last time in a Scotland shirt. He's Scotland's main man. He'll be in there, and then behind him, I think the perfect man to take over from Stuart Hogg, Ollie Smith. So yeah, that's the team. There's the 33. That's who I think should go to the World Cup for Scotland. I think most of the picks, they were fairly safe picks. I don't think I've gone with anyone out there. I don't think I've left out anyone particularly. Like, I've left out him. That's a big call. All of those players have played regularly for Scotland recently. All of those players have played well regularly recently for Scotland. So, and I think the World Cup's that time to take those players who are playing well in. It's not the time to experiment. I think the experimental time will be I think the main time for experiment is the Autumn Nations. Then you've got the Six Nations, but that's slightly more serious. But the World Cup's the big tournament. Which I think we should go strong in. We need to, if we want any chance, we need to, with us basically having to beat either Ireland or the Springboks. We need to upset one of those two of the favourites for the whole thing, which is going to be tough enough as it is. So yeah, let me know what you think. Let me know if there's anyone I missed out. Let me know if you think anyone else should be in. Until then though, I'll see you next time.